Good morning, good early morning to everyone. I know it's kind of early, and I know there probably won't be a lot of people coming in, but hopefully people will rewatch this at a later date. I am Luann from Blackberry Rock Homestead and Blackberry Rock Crafts. I have two channels. Um, I've been mainly focusing on this channel. Every once in a while, you will see a video on the other my crafting channel. I am reading King James Version of the Bible. Been doing it since January the 1st. Um, have been a few days that I missed, and I deeply apologize for that. But family's everything, and if you have a family emergency, you go tend to that. Because that's what God, Jesus, would want you to do. I'm sorry, I'm sound a little hoarse today. I don't know why. Anywho, I am in Second Kings chapter 16. Let me get a drink and we'll jump right on in there. Maybe that's a whole lot better. Well, I don't know. Anywho, let's jump on right on in chapter 16. If you have a Bible, feel free to read along with me because I may pronounce some of these names wrong. I do my best to pronounce it. I'm not no Bible scholar. Okay. Chapter 16. In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Ramlah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the king of Israel, yea, and made his sons to pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. Excuse me. Then Rezin king of Syria and Pekah son of Remlah king of Israel came up to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz and could not overcome him. At that time, Reza king of Syria recovered Elath to Syria. I don't know what happened there. Just now I seen in the corner of my eye a little glitch. I apologize for that. And drave the Jews from Elath, and Syrians came into Elath and dwelt there unto this day. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Israel, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. Come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Syria, and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which arise up against me. And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasures of the king's house, sent it for a present to the king of Assyria. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus, and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. And King Asa went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it, according to all the workmanship thereof. Good morning, Michael's Adventures. And Urijah the priest built an altar according to that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So Urijah the priest made it against King Ahaz and came from Damascus. And when the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar, and the king approached to the altar and offered thereon. And he burned his burnt offering and his meat offering, and poured his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings upon the altar. And he brought also the brazen altar which was before the Lord from the forefront of the house, from between the altar and the house of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the altar. And King Ahaz commanded Urijah the priest, saying, Upon the great altar burn the morning burnt offering, and evening meat offering, and the king's burnt sacrifice, and his meat offering, with the burnt offering of all the people of the land, and their meat offering, and their drink offerings, and sprinkle upon it all the blood of the burnt offering, and all the blood of the sacrifice, and the brazen altar shall be for me to inquire by. Thus did Ujah the priest according to all that King Asa commanded. And King Asa cut off the borders of the bases and removed the laver from off them, and took down the seat from off of the brazen ox that were under it, and put it upon a pavement of stones. And of the cover for the Sabbath that they had built in the house and the king's entry without, turned he from the house of the Lord for the king of Assyria. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaz, which he did, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Ahaz slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Hezekiah his son reigned in his stead. Chapter 17. I don't know I see at the corner of my eye little glitches, so I don't know what that is, and I apologize for that. Chapter 17, and I will probably read chapter 17, and probably might be all for today. I'm not going to read a full 30 minutes. At least I don't think I am, but who knows. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hosea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Syria, and Hasha became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Israel shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land, and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Israel took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them into Hala and in harbor in the river of Gozan in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God. They built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill, and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them molten images, even to calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baalah. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight, and there was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, and walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin. And for the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, and they departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cuthah, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria, instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria, and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, The nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, Carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let him go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of God of the land. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Lord. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of high places, which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Sarkop-Binoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashmea, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Sepharvites burnt their children in the fire to Adomalach, and Amalek the gods of Sepharvaim. So they feared the Lord, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared the Lord, and served their gods after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord, neither do they have unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord, neither do they after the statutes, or after the ordinances, or after the law and commandments which the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, and with whom the Lord had made a covenant, and charged them, saying, Ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But the Lord who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and a stretched out arm, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice. And the statutes and the ordinance and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do for evermore. And ye shall not fear other gods. And the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods. But the Lord your God ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Howbeit they did not hearken, and they did after their former manner. So these nations feared the Lord, and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, and so do they unto this day. So I am gonna stop right there. And like every reading I've done of the Bible so far this year, I like to end with prayer. So if you don't mind, bow your heads unless you're doing something, you're just listening and you can't bow your heads, which I know some people do listen to the word. So Lord, I pray for my strength I pray for my sweet mama for complete healing. I pray for her comfort and I pray for her strength as well. And I pray for my healing. And I pray for our family's healing and our comfort and our strength and our wisdom throughout all these battles that we're having to deal with, these storms that we're having to deal with. And Lord, I pray for all those people that are in the chat today and that will watch this at a later date, whether it be today, tomorrow, or next year. It doesn't matter. I pray for their healing. I pray for their comfort and I pray for their wisdom. And Lord, I pray for those people that are sick, whether they be at home or in the hospital dealing with some kind of illness or disease. And Lord, I pray for answers today. I pray for answers. And Lord, I pray for those people in Russia. I pray for those people in Ukraine. I pray for those people all over the world that are dealing with war and potential war and fighting and all the evil that is going on. I pray for their comfort and I pray for their wisdom to seek you, to know that you are there. And I pray for those people that don't know you. I pray that you are shown to them. And Lord, last, I pray for our country. I pray for our president. And I pray for our world. I pray that the evil is shown and people learn to seek you. And I pray they want to seek you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So I shall see y'all tomorrow, and everyone have a very blessed